everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to start by acknowledging that we are gathering on the land we're on today. And I recognize the traditional custodian of the land and pay my respect to elders past, present, and future, and acknowledging their continuing connection to this country. Hi, I'm Hazel. I'm a product designer. Prior to this, I was working in construction for 3 years. And here was my day-to-day like, making sense of different drawings, drafting, project timeline, and that's it. And that's quite boring, isn't it? But I'm actually proud of my experience because every day I was problem solving under pressure, understanding project from a holistic point of view, and translating them into actionable plans. And this experience shaped how I think naturally and helped me bring a systematic approach to UX design. Despite having those transferable skills, I still lack confidence, and simply because I'm moving into a new area with no industry experience, and I've never done any single design project before. So when I first started, I tend to stay quiet in meetings, worry about saying the wrong things and being judged. And that's true, because experience can help us bring confidence over time. But the problem is how much experience is actually enough, 2 years or 5 years. And as junior, we can't afford to wait years to find our voice and build confidence. So what if we could build that confidence from day one? And today, I wanted to talk about 2 common challenges that pretty much every designer will face at some point. And I'd like to share with you what I've learned to turn those moments into a growth opportunity in order to build my confidence. So here's the first story. I once worked with a senior PM. He's super experienced, but sometimes stubborn and opinionated. One time during this meeting, I spotted an issue with the design as it's not accessible for user on a smaller screens. And I believe we all kind of had that experience before. So initially, I thought my suggestion would be really welcome and appreciated since I was flagging a really critical usability issue, and we still have time to fix it and update it before I ship to the developer. But what surprised me was he turned down my suggestions on the spot and insist the customer can just use a bigger screen instead. And it took me a few minutes to process as his tone of voice is so commanding, I felt off guard, didn't know how to respond. As junior, I just simply didn't have that enough confidence to convince him on the spot. But knowing it could be problematic for the users, I realized I need to find another way to approach these conversations. So here's what I've done after the meeting. I've created alternative design, squeezed in the testing sessions, and worked with the tech lead to make sure the new designs wouldn't affect the project timeline. I scheduled a separate chat with the PM, present my ideas with evidence, and successfully convinced him. So as junior, it's natural to feel intimidated when you need to challenge stakeholders who are much more senior than you. But what I've learned from this experience was sometimes it's better to find a different approach that can help you overcome the fear and get your point across. So that's the first story. And now let's talk about another common challenge. As designers, we often need to share our work and get feedback from stakeholders. Sometimes things doesn't go as planned. People either zoom in on tiny detail or shift the conversations to another topic that it's completely outside of your project scope. And I've been through these situations before. So when it first happened to me, I felt so overwhelmed and started to second guessing myself. Did I miss something important in my design, or is my design completely off track? And as you can imagine, I didn't get the feedback I need, and simply because the meeting was running out of time. So one time I was working on this project where the business is trying to uplift the payment experience for the customer. And as part of the design process, I scheduled a review session with the stakeholders, planning to get just a high-level sentiment check from these different design options that I put together. So during the meeting, the team was initially fixated on this topic about the prioritization of different payment methods. And I thought it was pretty useful because it can help me understand the business priority and which options they wanted to promote. So I let the conversation flow. But as the meeting continued, one person shifted entire focus to the copy usage. And it escalated quickly when people starting to voting on their preferred wording options, like whether we should put payment options or payment methods. Acknowledge it's actually a good discussions to have, but it's not at that time. Although it's quite overwhelmed, I managed to drive the conversations back on track by repeating the meeting objective and eventually get the feedback I need. So don't feel afraid to set the boundaries and guide the conversations if needed when seeking design feedback. So towards the end, I'd like to share with you what works for me and help me grow. When facing confrontations at work, and don't feel pressures to win every battle immediately, if you can, try to gather evidence and find someone to back you up. Lastly, resolve the issue at a later date. When seeking design feedback, keep your objective crystal clear. Set yourself a mental filter to help you identify what's relevant and irrelevant conversation looks like. And don't be afraid to interrupt and redirect if the conversations go off track. So as junior, it's normal to feel uncertain, fearful, and inadequate. But we could still take small actions that build the confidence we need from day one. So don't wait to feel confident to act confidently. And I would like to leave this question to all of you. So what helps you build your confidence? Is it years of experience or those small little actions? I can't wait to hear your thoughts and your stories. If you like, connect me on LinkedIn and we can have a chat after this. Thank you.